I throw this definition up here, and I know everyone goes, I know what ransomware is. No, let's think about it. Be patient with me, right? Let's review what ransomware is. Ransomware, it's a type of malware, right? From cryptobiology, we make our files inaccessible and we ask for ransom. Okay, basic. As we think about that, is in this evolution, we go from 2006, where the ransoms were between $100 and $200, right? It was pretty simple, right? And then we get into 2013. What did we do? We added a little bit better encryption. We added Bitcoin, right? But this is your definition of ransomware, right? And it's worth about $1,000. So what happened? Well, in about 2015, we discovered it. Oh my, if that ransomware goes off and that computer or that endpoint has to be connected to the network store, and we encrypt the network store, oh, people are more likely to pay. Oh my, what does that mean? Well, now all of a sudden, I'm going to be focused, if I'm the bad person, I'm going to be focused on moving laterally, escalating privileges, right? Getting persistence. And now all of a sudden, that means the ransomware is worth about $50,000. And then all of a sudden, we're going to have a division of labor in 2018, where we're going to have some people focusing on penetrating networks and some people focusing on the ransomware. We're going to be focusing on evasion, modifying services, looking for persistence, right? It's all about how do we penetrate. Now all of a sudden, now we get to the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Then when we get into 2021, now we start having multifaceted extortion, where it wasn't enough that we encrypted. Now we're exfiltrating. Now we're shaming people. Now here's the point. Now the ransoms are in the millions. So we talk about ransomware, and the point that we want to make here is that the ransomware is worth about $1,000. The ransomware attacker, however, is worth about $999,000. And so when we start talking about the whole focus of cybersecurity and the sophistication of hacker, so it's less about the malware and more about the attacker. And as we look at this, now this is wonderful data. This piece of analysis comes from Splunk, but this particular data slide, this comes from our folks at Lockbit. Now, Lockbit, as you know, is a malware organization, but they want to tell you they've got the best malware out there. And so they did a comparison, and they said, hey, we can encrypt more data faster than anyone else. And they'll tell you that they can encrypt 100 gigabytes of data in 4.5 minutes. Wow. So our friends over at Splunk, they look to confirm that. And so they tried, and they had reasonably close results. They said that the Lockbit ransomware was able to encrypt 100 gigabytes of data in about just under 6 minutes. Now, whether you believe the Lockbit folks or whether you believe the Splunk folks, not important. Here's the thing. If we look at the data that comes to us from the M-Trends report, our friends over at Mandiant, and we say, hey, that malware, ransomware lives on the network, but about 2.5 minutes before it actually starts encrypting, and we take the 6 minutes that we get from Splunk, what we quickly find out is that, from the time that the ransomware hits our network to the time that it encrypts the first 100 gigabytes of data, we're looking somewhere between 7 and 9 minutes. So if you're focused on the ransomware, you're pretty much toast. So as we talk about these opportunities to defend against ransomware, we want to focus on the initial compromise, the lateral movement, the privilege escalation, the data exfiltration. Because if you're waiting for the encryption to happen and that's how you're detecting it, you're toast.